Hey everybody, welcome to Abundant Source Raw on YouTube, and in this video I want to talk a little bit about how toxins are eliminated from the body. So, how do we first accumulate toxins? How do they get into the body? Well, I always say that there's only three real causes to toxins and disease, and that's diet, environment, and stress. And if you can eliminate all three of those, then you'll never be sick another day in your life. But the biggest factor out of those is your diet. I'd say probably 90% or more of all disease is coming from people's diet and what they eat. So when you eat something that's unnatural, like cooked food or anything that's outside of your species-specific diet, we are anthropoids. We're part of the great apes, and our natural diet is fruit. We're a frugivorous species, just like all of our other closest ape relatives, and so that means we primarily should be eating fruit, and most other foods outside of fruit are going to be toxic and acidic to our body. So when we eat something like cooked food, which is unnatural because it kills, the nutrition in the food, it's going to kill the living enzymes that help digest the food. It's going to kill the biophotons in the food, which feeds your cells. So when we eat these cooked foods, that's bringing toxins and acidity into the body. It's very hard for our body to digest cooked food, and the nutrition and just the whole biological makeup of the food is going to be mutated and transformed into something that is toxic for the body when you cook it. Say you're eating some pizza, what's going to happen? You eat it, chew it up, mix it with the saliva, goes down the esophagus into the stomach, and then that's already going to mess things up because your stomach is not equipped to be able to digest cooked food or cheese or bread or anything like that. So eating pizza definitely is not good, and so it's going to be sitting in your stomach for a very long time to try and digest, and then once it does flow through the stomach, it's going to go into the small intestine, where pretty much all nutrition and toxins are going to be absorbed into the body. So there's really not hardly any nutrition in pizza. So it's mostly going to be toxins, and what happens is your digestive system is like a long tube all the way from your mouth to your anus. You've got the mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and then it comes out of you, and all that is just a big hollow tube which is protecting the inside of your body. And so as the food travels through the tube, it's mostly toxins if we eat something like pizza. So most of that, what you just ate, is just going to stay in that tube, and it's not even going to get into the body, or it's going to try its best not to enter the body because it's all mostly toxins. It's just going to stay in our long digestive tube, so that way it keeps the inside of our body safe, and we just try to excrete it the best we can. But when nutrition and toxins get absorbed into the body, it usually is going to pretty much all happen in the small intestine. You've got capillaries for the blood system, and then you've got capillaries for the lymph system. The blood is the kitchen that flows through your body and feeds every cell, and the lymph is the bathroom or the sewer system of the body, which is where cell waste and other toxins are going to be excreted and then filtered through the kidney. So when it's going through the small intestine, then most of the nutrition is going to go right into the blood, and most of the toxins are going to go into get filtered into the lymph system, and then so nutrition is then circulated through the body and feeds every cell. Well, your cells are, every single cell in your body is a living creature, living organism, just like you, and it has certain functions just like every other living organism. It also has to digest, assimilate, and excrete toxins. So once your cells absorb the nutrition, it's going to have waste matter that it has to excrete. So you've got trillions and trillions of cells all excreting waste matter very quickly all the time in your body. And so where does that go? It's going to go into the lymph system. It's your sewer system of the body, and the lymph system is, right now we believe it's about 4 to 5 times larger than the blood system in your body. So the lymph system is at least 4 times bigger than your blood system. So it is the dominant fluid of your body. So when the cells excrete their waste matter, it's going to go into the lymph system, and also some toxins that may have gotten into the blood are also going to be dumped into the lymph system for elimination. And then once it enters the lymph system, it's going to travel. And we've got different lymph nodes in our bodies where lymph can, there's a lot of bacteria in these lymph nodes which are going to help break down the toxins and help lower the acidity level. And then as it travels through the lymph system, it's going to go to the kidneys where it'll be filtered. And say we're eating that pizza and it's mostly nothing but toxins. Well, once the toxins get into the lymph system, it's going to be so much, and people are eating so unnaturally and so much more than they should be, just stuffing themselves on junk and really not eating anything that helps with their body, like raw fruits and vegetables. And so when you're just overloading your body 24/7 with these junk foods, it's really going to be very tough on your body. It's going to overload your lymph system. And so once the lymph system gets to the kidneys to try and get filtered, well, you're going to have so many toxins from eating all the junk that most people eat on a daily basis that it's going to be too much for the kidneys. The kidneys are going to get overworked and won't be able to handle it, so the lymph system is going to back up, or it's going to get backed up and kind of get stagnant. So the body now has to find other channels of elimination to get rid of the toxins in your body. And so the next option for your body is to get rid of the toxins through the skin. That's the second safest way for the toxins to get released, is it will just come up through the skin. And that's how things like acne, rashes, eczema, all these different skin disorders come about, because toxins are getting backed up from the kidneys and they need somewhere else to go. They don't want to sit in your body and stagnate, because that's when it gets really bad. So it comes out through the body. And then whenever your skin can't handle the toxic load, because the average person just has such a huge toxic load. Your body doesn't stand a chance in trying to eliminate all this properly. It just can't do it. And so the lymph system will back up even further, and it will find more channels of elimination. The next best option is going to be storing these in your lungs and your sinuses, where the toxins can come up through your throat and out your nostrils as phlegm and mucus through the nose. Those are other organs of elimination that can safely excrete toxins. And so that's why you're gonna get things like asthma and allergies and things like that when they're stored in the lungs, and it's why you're gonna cough up all this mucus. I remember when I was eating the standard American diet every single morning, it's what got me up out of bed in the morning, is I just had this huge ball of phlegm come up through my throat, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to spit this out. Almost every morning that would happen, and it was just because I was eating so much junk that it was all getting stored in my lungs and sinuses. And then every morning when the body had time to kind of work on itself at night, well, then that stuff would come up to the surface and they would try to get rid of those toxins. And then with the sinuses, you get stuff stored in there, and you're going to have sore throats, migraines, you're going to have runny nose or stuffy nose, and phlegm, fever, things like that. That's how all that's manifested. It's not from bacteria or invader cells attacking us like they try to tell you it is. It's all a biological function that happens naturally in the body, and it happens when you're going outside of the laws of your own biology. If you're eating unnatural foods for your species type, we're humans, we're frugivores, if we're eating outside of that, then of course things are going to happen. We're going to develop disease, and the body's not going to be able to function properly if we're not putting in it what it's supposed to have in it. So then when the body is overloaded even more with toxins, to where even the lungs and sinuses can't help it, then you really have pretty much no other safe way of eliminating your toxins, and that means your body's going to have to store the toxins inside the cell tissues, inside the tissues of your body. And that's when things start to get really bad. Toxins are going to get stored in your tissue, and then to buffer that, because when toxins are stored in the tissue, they're very acidic and they will burn, all other tissue and cells around them and start to damage the cells around them. So what the body does is it has to accumulate fat to surround the acids and the toxins, so that way, as like a buffer, so that way it's not as acidic, and the body will also hold on to a lot of water, because water is going to be alkalizing, and it's going to make it so that way your body's not so acidic. And that's why people get overweight, is that they have such an accumulation of fat and water that the body is holding on to, because they have so many toxins in their tissue that it's just all surrounded by fat and water to to balance and offset all the acids that they have stored in their body. So that's pretty much how obesity happens, is that the body just holds on to fat and water weight as a reaction to toxins in the body. And then, the when you all your organs of elimination are backed up, like the kidney, skin, sinus, lungs, then the lymph fluid is going to get stagnant. It's not going to be able to move anywhere if you've got such a backup and buildup of acid and toxins. Lymph is mostly made out of fat and mucus, and it's a very slow moving fluid. It's not like the blood, which has the heart to pump it around the body. The lymph fluid has no pump, and really one of the only ways to get it moving is to physically move your body, which going out for walks is just one of the best exercises you can do for moving the lymph system. Just something as simple as that. Just get your body moving, and eating fruit, which is highly cleansing and which will help break up the stagnant lymph fluid and get it moving again, is going to be the most beneficial. So fruit and light exercise are just really going to help things get moving in your lymph system. But when people are hardly moving, and they're eating so much junk and toxins that it's backing up the lymph fluid and keeping it stagnant, well, now your body, the lymph fluid, is going to form a hardened mass, which we would call a cyst or a tumor. And that's how those are formed. A cyst is just a big hardened mass of lymph and some blood, and it just sits there, very acidic, and it's going to damage all the other tissue and cells around it. And that's really how really bad disease starts to happen, like cancer. It's just because the lymph system is backed up, and you have so many toxins, and you're not giving your body a break to work on eliminating these toxins properly. And you just keep bombarding it with unnatural foods like meat, dairy, and just anything cooked, and that's really going to slow down the lymph system, and it's going to make it stagnant and cause disease. So it's all a natural biological function. Disease, they've really kind of misled us into thinking that disease is something that we catch, or it's bacteria, or some kind of cell dysfunction or something, like we have invader cells that are attacking us now. Well, it's none of that. It's all natural. It's supposed to happen whenever we eat unnatural things and surround ourselves in an unnatural environment. They're all parts of our natural biology. And I mean, could you imagine if it didn't happen? If we didn't end up getting symptoms for doing the wrong thing? I mean, we'd just end up dropping dead one day because we didn't have anything telling us to stop. These things are telling us to stop and telling us we need to change what we're doing, and we need to get back into nature's laws. So those are all the ways that pretty much all the ways that toxins get eliminated outside of the body, and it's also how most diseases formed, especially the bad stuff like cancer. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk with you guys in the next video. Thank you.